All right, good morning, everybody. Dakota and I are going off on a bucket list item that I have wanted to do for years, and it's just never worked out. And we are just getting ready to depart. We got about 26 gallons of gas on board, got the back and the dog and the bike, not a whole lot more. Pretty calm winds. We're actually going to take off with just 20 flaps. We're just going to keep it in the 3-point attitude and let her fly off with this Sportsman cuff. Should be probably in about 400 feet. Wings already light. A little back pressure. There she just lifts off. We'll lower that nose, get our best angle climb speed. It's 69 miles over to where we're going at Cashmere, and a couple sites we're going to try to pick out along the way. Harvey 97 Bravo, left downwind. Departing to the east, Harvey. Beautiful, beautiful morning. Mount Rainier is out. I really don't see hardly a cloud in the sky. All right, well, we'll fill you in a little bit more as we go about just what exactly today's adventure is. Dakota's back there. You may have heard him. He's having fun. He's ready.
View of Mount Rainier in the distance. Here's Mount Index at 5,900 feet. Looking down into the lakes there, Lake Serene, and of course Bridal Veil Falls underneath it all. All of this just 20 miles from Snohomish. Another 10 miles and we're actually up into the glaciers here in North Cascades, looking up at Glacier Peak. Stewarts are down to the right. Here's the town of Index, a great little getaway. Good launch point for your whitewater rafting. Go up this valley to the right, and you're up at the glaciers coming out of Blanco Lake. So these are images from the Bolt Creek fire. This started burning between Index and Skycomish along US 2 last year around September 10th. Turned out to be one of the bigger fires in Washington, had a huge impact on the state highway being closed for quite some time. As you can see, it burned all the way, we're looking to the north right here, it burned all the way up to the crest of this ridge and didn't go down the backside. There were some guys that scrambled out of some high hikes that survived by getting down off that ridge on the right hand side, but it was a pretty harrowing experience for them. Typically the guys have been hiking clear up to that peak right there under the wing, and then the fire started right below them and they had a tough time getting down. Lots of smoke, lots of fire, got all the way up to that mountain before they could get completely off of it. And this is Bering Mountain at 6,125 feet. Barkley Lake is what you see right down at the bottom there. For my base jumping friends, could you, would you, should you? You probably already have.
Back here just to the north of the ridge. It didn't come over the ridge here, but it started to come over the ridge right in this area, and then it burned sporadically down into this next valley. And the further you got down this valley, the more it burned, to where the lower half is probably 80-90% fire damage. Right in this little bowl and area, I don't know, there's maybe 30% of the trees have some fire damage, but then you just cross over one ridge and it's up to 70%. Cross over one more ridge, get into this drainage down here, you can see it's all just charred. That's the nature of fire, it's very spotty.
These images showed just how little timber actually was necessary. There was so much fire fuel on the ground that even in this rocky area with sparse trees, there was flames that jumped all over the side of that rocky mountain.
And then as you get lower back down the mountain towards the town of Skykomish, right there, Highway 2, it was a lot more sporadic, though it did burn all the way down to the north side of the road. And we'll get some different views coming back later with a different light from the other angle, show you the south flanks. Here we are at the top of Stevens Pass. That's looking down into the Icicle Valley, Ski Hill, right down there.
Flying 701.
Didn't know how well it's going to show up, but wow, these avalanche chutes. A lot of snow in the mountain still. It is coming down. Piled up in the bottom there. There's another one over to the left. Got the lake right there. See the dirt trails and the slides. There's another set of slides. This is all northwest facing.
Now this is remnants just on the east side of Stevens Pass of a fire that burned probably 5 or 6 years ago.
So the other day as I was headed over to the Moses Lake Stoll May Day Stoll event, I was going through Tumwater Canyon, which is a really deep ravine, has the Wenatchee River in it going into Leavenworth. And up on the right-hand side, I found a hanging valley that had a huge waterfall coming out of it. It's a waterfall that normally isn't running. Obviously, we're in the middle of a heavy winter snowmelt, but this thing was huge. Just kind of gauging it, I was down low, didn't have a lot of chance to study it, but I would say it was probably falling 600 to 800 feet in 2 to 3 tiers, and it was probably 20 to 30 feet in diameter. It was impressive. So today we are up at 7,500 feet. I know my nose isn't bleeding. That's kind of high for me, but it's going to let me find this waterfall, look at the watershed above this hanging valley, then we'll drop down in and try to get some cool video of it. So let's keep our fingers crossed that we get something and find a new little feature.
And there's not really a river up top. It's just seasonal runoff, in the valley floor up there above this cliff. So the name of this falls is Drury Falls, D-R-U-R-Y, and it's coming off the Josephine Crag. CRAG.
All right, so obviously now we are down in the canyon. Beautiful place to fly when the weather is good and the winds are good, and that is what we got today. Here you can just see the mouth. This kind of got you for people coming across Stevens Pass from the east. Especially in the afternoon when there's shadows, you can't see the entrance to the canyon. What you end up trying to go through is the next one over, Icicle, which is not where you want to go. While you can safely fly up and over it, it takes you into no man's land in a big way.
Here's the Class 5 whitewater run down through Tumwater Canyon. It is big water, and it's always impressive to watch guys and gals run it, looking out in the beautiful valley of Leavenworth.
All right. Cashmere traffic, Cessna 97 Bravo, 3 miles to the west. We'll overfly the airport, check the winds, Cashmere. Ah, the beautiful valley is green. So, I last flew over here when I came over last Wednesday, so a week ago. We still had blossoms everywhere. It looks like most of the blossoms are done. Some of the canyons that are going uphill, a little more altitude, are still having some blossoms hanging on the tree. But regardless, it's going to be an absolute beautiful day to go do a little riding over here. Just means I have to come back next year and get the true peak of the blossoms with my new knee. So Cashmere's a little bit shorter airport. It sits right in the middle of town. There's not a lot of good options around it. One, you definitely like to keep it a little bit high and tight. And you always want to be able to make the airfield here. Because orchards are not a good place to put airplanes. They'll absorb the energy. You'll survive it. But you're going to obviously shred the airplane up. We got 7 and 2.5. It's at 858 feet, so DA is really not an issue. It's 1,800 feet long. Really cool little place. Normally you're kind of landing on 2.5. Slight uphill to that. Cashmere traffic, Cessna 97 Bravo is 1 mile to the west, entering a left downwind for 2.5 Cashmere. All right, jump on the carriage. Drop. Check. Good. Fuel's on both. Don't see anybody. I don't hear anybody. You do have grass beside the runway. Never landed in the grass here. I don't know what without scouting it. So we'll put it on the pavement. Windsock is laying pretty dead calm, as I expected. We're going to configure, start slowing down here early because we are a little bit above pattern altitude by 200 feet on the downwind. You have a displaced threshold of about 150 feet. A schoolyard, baseball, sport fields just on short final. Dakota's excited to be here. There's the roads we're going to go right up. Cashmere traffic, blue and silver Cessna tail dragger, left base 2.5 Cashmere. Funnel looks clear, both directions. kids, we're going to angle the final so we don't come straight over the top of them. Lights at the sports field have obstacle lights on them. Probably going, what's that dog I hear? We'll offset the house, be a good neighbor. Final's clear. Speed's good. Got the overrun fence there. Not my best. Nice feature, they have a halfway mark here because it's slight uphill going this way. So a good reference for people taking off to know if you're not at 3/4 flying speed at the halfway mark, it's time to abort. Dakota's excited. Well, we played around getting over here, but just over an hour, hour 5.
Nicely done. Now I know where the grass runway is. Really hoping to have the cherry blossoms still blooming when we made this ride, but we're just a little bit late. This orchard here down protected from the wind a little bit more. It had a few still hanging on the branches. You doing good, Dakota? You doing good? Those ears are flopping. That tongue's going. Still got a pretty good pace going. Think you're doing all right. You looking at me? You looking at me? Oh, you looking at me? That goat's a real pisser there. Great riding surface. Smooth. Looks like some oat hay. It's a good day. It's a good day. Well, that's what it's all about. A little mid-ride snack. Washington apple, Cosmic Chris. Gunda's enjoying the shade. It just keeps going up around every corner. More hills, more trees. Love the yellow flowered milkweeds. I don't know what you call them. They come out in the spring here. They're so gorgeous. Reminds me of turkey hunting. Is that good? You like that? All right, let's keep going. Well, beautiful terrain as we head higher up into the canyon. A lot of the fruit flowers are gone. The guys at the airport said they had a big wind and rainstorm come through the last 2 days. Heel. Dad, I feel sorry for those dogs in that pickup. They got to ride. They got to run and play. Here's some more orchards. Wind machines help move the air when it gets cold. Here. Oh, we're 50 minutes in. It's going up around windy curves. Looks like a pretty good place to turn on around. Should we go downhill, buddy? Take it easy from here on down. Washed out bridge pieces. Christmas floats away still. Pretty cool. Old crane here. Oh man, bummer. Crane's got a flat. Well, cool thing about aviation, people are always helping each other out, and I've got a pump here, so I might as well go to work and help them out, right? One, two, three, four, 669,403. 669,404. 600 and 1,002. 1,003. 1,004. I think it'll work for him. That's all I got. Dakota knows it's important to always be practicing. Even here when he's resting, he's gone and found himself a stick to play with, work with. Did you get a stick? You got a couple of them, huh? Yeah. Find a bird. Find a bird. Find the bird. Whoa, whoa. You just got ahead of me. Don't give me that look like, am I coming? There's a raven buddy. There's a raven buddy. That's a good sign. Huh. Interesting rock face there exposed. Snow slides off that nicely in the winter. 2 miles to go. You gonna make it, Dakota? You gonna make it? The variety of flowers growing along the mountainside here, along the roads, just real pretty here in the spring and early summer. Hey, look, Dad, that sign says airport to the left. We should go left. Should we go left? Let's go. Let's go to the left. Are you excited to be back at the airplane? You got a little bit left. A little tailwind push up to the runway. That was a beautiful day. Beautiful day. We like that sign. There's 97 Bravo, looking good. It's gonna go downhill into the wind. That is a planner's failure right there. Look at this. There's the runway. City lets somebody build a house directly on final. Just crazy. Come on, bud. Cashmere Dryden Airport. That's us. We're official vehicles, aren't we? We're official something. Got some puffy clouds starting to form over the mountains. It's 12:35. Should be nice. Should be nice, bud. What a fun day. Alrighty, everybody. Well, that was fun. We're getting ready to depart. Here is our windsock. Obviously, downhill into the wind is nice. Got a slight hill over there. Our safety out is to the left. Really, there's nothing over there until you get to Highway 2, which is about a half mile. So you're going to need about 400 or 500 feet today to get anywhere. So it's definitely going to be get it airborne, accelerate, ground effect, take all the speed you can get right here to the end, trade it up into altitude, zoom it, and then I'm going to keep climbing at my best angle until I've got the airfield, or I'm sorry, until I got the highway made. Then I can start to accelerate and turn and go east. 97 Bravo's pre-flighted. Dakota, you ready? Hey Dakota, you ready to go home? Load up. Load up. Go on. Please find your seats. Please take your seats so we can get going. And close the boarding door. Now have an emergency landing site available, Highway 2. Fast forward, we're now back on the west side of Stevens Pass, just running up alongside the hills. Quite often in the spring we'll see some black bears up here or some other wildlife, and it's just a nice way to stay out of the way. Everybody else is out in the middle of the canyon. I'll get tucked in here to the side, get a little rise in air off these sun-baked rocks, and get some free lift. Now we're back over that Bolt Creek fire. The sun has shifted, so we get a better view of the southern flanks now. And that is where I ended the video last time, was coming out through that valley and draw right there. And now we're going to see the southern flanks, which is burned all the way from the Highway 2 in the bottom of the valley to the very tops of each of the rocky peaks on the right-hand side. It'll be interesting over the years to watch how fast all this grows back. It's part of nature. It will. Here we had the benefit, you can see how they were able to use the cut in the trees where the power line runs to use as a fire break. We're now back here at Mount Index, Lake Isabella, in the Bridal Fall area, just immediately south of Index. We'll just fly through here a little bit lower, give you a nice scenic view.